I'm Charles Waldheim. I'm the Johnny Irving Professor of Landscape Architecture at the Harvard Graduate School of Design, where I teach courses that deal with the city. We were approached by the Getty Research Institute a couple of years ago as they had acquired the archive of Ed Ruscha, the Los Angeles-based artist who had been photographing the streets of Los Angeles for many decades. The challenge there was we were among many architects, historians, art historians who were invited in to help them interpret that material. And so we took that as an opportunity to think about how we might build a platform to access these tens of thousands of images, many of which have never been developed or printed. So beginning with building a web interface that allows us to sort them and search them, we then partnered with Runway Machine Learning to develop a StyleGAN process to train machines on these thousands of images with an attempt to use them to project something of the DNA or the architectural material behind Los Angeles through this process of machine learning. In developing this machine learning process, this StyleGAN process, we were training machines with thousands of images from Ed Ruscha with a goal of trying to build a workflow, a way of understanding the DNA, the material composition, the materiality of Los Angeles, apart from any one particular building. And in developing this series of animations, we were then able to work with students across the disciplines at the design school, architects, landscape architects, urban designers, and each of them in the coursework were able to develop their own agenda, their own strategy for the future of Los Angeles. One of our candidates became interested in the gaps between the buildings that occurred only when Ruscha's photographic rig passed another cross street. And at those moments, especially looking from Sunset Boulevard to the south, they were able to find the horizon. So a project that simply looked for the horizon produced an extraordinary set of views from the Hollywood Hills down into the bowl of Los Angeles. And that produced quite a very productive and generative way of thinking about that shape of the city. And that student then went on to develop a project for shading the major boulevards as heat island and kind of increasing public health threats to heat in Los Angeles are among the effects of anthropogenic climate change. We learned that saying yes to all to the data set is probably a bad idea, that the students and researchers that included more material tended to get muddier results. And so, as always, asking a very clear, pointed question is the best way forward. So when we had a clarity of question, that clarity of question led us to a clarity about data sets and which images will be included. And that got us to the best curatorial outcomes by far.